Welcome to the virtual seminar Workplace Culture Matters. I am Alicia Tong, COO, Great Place to Work, Greater China. Thank you for joining us. Remember last year, at the same time, we were in a beautiful banquet room, physically smiling and talking to each other and thinking about our dream and our objectives for 2020. And time flies. 11 months later, the entire world changed. We cannot say it is the old plan as usual. We have entering a new normal. And the 2020 will be a definitely remarkable year for most of us. However, in this such challenging time, we have the privilege to have invited several guests from the best workplaces. They are not only making their team happy and enjoying the time together in the very unusual year, they are doing even more and offering tools, resources, support to their people, even their families. So I'm sure you might be interested to know what can we hear and learn from their sharing and insights, from their experiences and their advice. So I would like to share with you those people we have invited from different industries and to hear their first-hand insights. Let's start with our first guest, Mr. Robin Zhang, CEO, Canva. Canva is actually quite new in terms of technology, and they are amazing tools as the world's largest online design platform with a mission to empower everyone to design. I wish I have this when I was younger because that's always my dream to draw and design something. We also have Min Wong from Cisco, a global vice president and CEO, Cisco Greater China. Cisco has been a strong backbone to all of us at workplaces, not only this year, but for many years. And this year, we realized that how much Cisco can do to help us still having a balance at work and life. We also have invited Alan Chen, General Manager from Epson China. Alan, who is an expert in his field, his team is such an inspiring team that even myself are feeling so much encouraged after talking to them. I'm sure he will have a lot to share today with us. And we also have Andy Bentold, Regional Managing Director from Page Group, Greater China. Andy has been a guru in managing different locations and the variable teams in so many years. He will share his tremendous experience working with his diversified team and how do they make it a different 2020. So I can't wait. I hope you are the same. Let's quickly talk about what happened in 2020 before we invite our guests to share more. Well, so many people are saying 2020 will be a word for the rest of their life. And you might be curious about if an individual feels so much about that, what happened if it is at workplaces? So here, I quickly summarize our hot and fresh data from our 2020 employee feedback in the Trust Index. There are more than 35,000 data and feedback. And here are the top five that is strengthened and focus on credibility and respect. That's amazing. When I see all these numbers, I feel the team spirit is actually strengthened in terms of having the same goal and sharing the same value. So here we see management keeps being informed about important issues and changes. I'm giving the resources and equipment to do my job. People avoid politicking and backstepping as way to get things done. Management generally seeking and responding to suggestions and ideas. Management makes expectations clear. They are all doing much better compared to 2019 in 2020. That's amazing. And while I'm showing you this data, I can actually picture when a lot of people are saying they feel not involved or they feel doesn't know what is happening around. From the employee survey we have done with these best workplaces, their people feel their engagement with the management and the communications when talking about important issues, when talk about job necessary resources, when talk about more flat, not less hierarchy communications, things doing even better than 2019. If I'm the employee, I feel my relationship is improving with my manager and also among each other. However, we also have another set of data telling us what we actually know. That is, camaraderie is weakened in 2020. People celebrate special events around here, not as much as last year. Customer feedback about service excellence. This really kills a lot of people's heart because that's what we definitely want to hold up with. Management recognize honest mistakes as part of doing business. This is also weakened compared with 2019. Manager avoid playing favorites and not as fun as the workplace like in 2019. So we are not alone. We see something doing better in terms of management, honest communication on decision making, but we also see people are feeling less together. Today our topic is better together, but there are people feeling not as much as we were together. What can we do about it? This is why we have these 4 amazing guests joining us and share from their first-hand experience as a leadership through the crisis. So quickly, I'm going to ask them, every one of them, how does workplace culture matter to you, to your organization, to your team, particularly in 2020? May I have the pleasure to invite Andy, Mr. Andy Bentold, Page Group Regional Managing Director, Greater China. Andy, would you please share with us how does workplace culture matters to your team in 2020?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Thanks, Elisa. Great to be here. I think a lot of you know Page Group, or certainly know Michael Page. You can see the different brand names that we have behind me, and we're a professional recruiter hiring from every level, from entry right up to the most senior end of the market. So we have a pretty unique position in communicating on a regular basis, both internally, but also with a huge number of companies across the world on a very regular basis. And I think if we're looking at workplace culture, 3 things that I really want to talk about, and they've all got what I see as a real human element. And I think the human element of workplace culture is very important. The first one that we really like to focus on is coaching and mentoring, and within that giving feedback. It's very strong in our own work environment. We have a very supportive culture. It's what I call a motivational coaching style, and I have a commitment that I will help people to improve in their jobs, but also give them skills that are going to be useful outside of the work environment and in their day-to-day life, whether it's in their relationships or with their personal life. And learning never stops, and I think it's really important that a workplace absolutely supports that as a key part of its culture. The second part is we really believe that everyone has no limit in terms of the potential that they have, and we really make sure we focus on people's strengths, so focusing on the positives and what they can do, rather than spending too much time on the negatives and maybe what they're less strong at. And we run a number of assessment tools to really help individualize someone's learning, to have a really personalized plan. And we think this focus on on strengths is positive, it's enjoyable, and of course it ultimately gives people the greatest chance of success in what they do. So the strengths part is the second part, and all of that is about, I think, being authentic and ensuring that you can be the best version of yourself at work, or we talk about bringing your whole self to work. And again, I think that's critical from a workplace culture, from a workplace environment. And to do that, you have to focus on my third point, which is diversity and inclusion. And we know diversity and inclusion is a big topic around the world, becoming increasingly important across Greater China. And we see that it's not just on a to-do list; it's an inherent part of our culture and our business, and something clearly we work with our customers on to a large degree as well. And we have a variety of support groups. Whether it's women at Page, Pride at Page, parents at Page, to provide that supporting environment and look at embedding all of this into our life cycle, our employee life cycle. So from an inclusion point of view, you've got to have unconscious bias when you're hiring. You've got to create a psychologically safe environment. There's got to be a continuous listening process and feedback that you have within your business, and all of these help for us to develop this diverse and inclusive workforce. I've got a business that's 78% female, and we're trying to promote female women leaders as well as clearly Chinese leaders, and that's very important for us in a business that has that makeup. So. Yeah, those are my three areas. So coaching and mentoring, and making sure there's the feedback, really focusing on people's strengths so they can be authentic, and then really committing to diversity and inclusion. And if you do that, that's going to really enhance the workplace culture that you have. So thank you.
That's fantastic. Well, I think as a person grow from within, I cannot agree more with an organization that can help people grow within the company and together with the company. So this is amazing. Thank you, Andy. And of course, we want to hear more about how does workplace culture matter to your organization in 2020. So can I also throw this question to Alan? What about Ipsen? How do you work with it?
Thank you, Alicia. Ipsen Group is an organization with 92 years history. Actually, we are serving the healthcare professional, consumer, and also patient. With 92 years, actually in China, we have been serving China for 28 years. So definitely, culture is very, very important to us. In Ipsen, we have a so-called One Ipsen culture. We try to make culture very detailed for employee to understand. And then we comes up the 5 ways of being and try to describe the behavior that will drive the culture. Actually, 5 behaviors we advocate. Number 1, we trust each other. Number 2, we share and learn every day. Number 3, we own our outcomes. Number 4, we honor our work. Number 5, we drive to win together. For us, walking the talk, and the first thing to do is let them know what exactly we are expecting. Actually, for the last few years, every time when we have new employee coming to the company, we run a 2-hour workshops with them to talk about the culture, to talk about the behavior. So within 2 hours, they will discuss and then debate, and then they will quote example what culture and behaviors means. And of course, we will talk about the positive one, and also we will discuss about the negative one. So we hope that when employees come to Ipsen first, they start to discuss and debate, okay, this is what company advocating. And then I understand how to react to that. And then when we move through the performance management, usually those are a list of objectives you try to accomplish throughout the year. But for us, we try to encourage our employee, okay, when you talk with your supervisor, you spend time with your task, this is perfectly okay. But make sure you spend time to share about the behavior that you demonstrate, and then get feedback from your boss. For example, like me, whenever my team together, I have around 90 minutes, and usually we spend half talking about behaviors, and also half we talk about the so-called tasks. So we try to get a good balance of behavior and also tasks. We believe this is the way we can continue to embark the behavior into the daily work. And of course, one thing very important, shown at the top, each year we have two very, very important meetings. The national cycle meeting. Although we have a lot we try to share, we have a lot of strategy, a lot of marketing data we like to share, but we still make sure we have time to talk about the culture. So HR and I, we will work together to have a section, make sure we continue to bring the culture to our organization. So they will see, okay, this is an important meeting for us. We talk about the business result, we talk about next strategy, okay, we still talk about our culture. And then this year, very important, in the mid-year, we won 16 task force workshop with our team, almost cover all the manager title, because we believe during the COVID-19, it is important to share more with them about the culture, because this is the moment that your culture can demonstrate how impactful to the organization and also to our customer. So this 16 meeting, majority of them, we talk about what we have achieved from the behavior perspective. And then of course, we share some of the tasks and achievement we had before. So from our side, we truly believe walking the talk, communicating, let the behavior becomes live. They can talk, they can share, they can debate. So people have the same standard of what we're talking about the culture. So I have to say, I have to thank the leadership team because they make the culture live and not the company. Companies share all the culture detail to us. If we don't have them, I don't see such powerful, we can move the culture to the team. And of course, from working with Great Place to Work organization, we really try to use this scientific approach to understand more actually where we are and what we can improve. So thanks to the survey, actually we can see that some culture we already embarked in organization, some we still need to work on. We still have a lot of things we need to improve. But anyway, for us, I think every day is learning. So I think culture also part of us is keep learning. I think the organization and the environment is changing, so never stop learning. So thank you, Alicia.
Well, that's great. That's wonderful. And I am the witness of how you actually try everything possible to put everybody together, to get everybody involved. And that is definitely making a big difference. This is a wonderful culture. And of course, we want to hear from different industry. Here we have also Cisco, we have Ming, a global vice president, CEO, Cisco Greater China. And Ming, would you please share with us, how does Cisco taking your team through this very uncertain year by showing your amazing workplace culture?
Yes, sure. Yeah. 2020 is definitely a different year for all of us because of the COVID and pandemic situation. In Cisco, we never say when we need to resume work right after the COVID, because we are actually working every day, non-interrupt, because of our technology. We are the global leader providing technology to connect people and companies together in a secure and reliable way, and also provide collaboration tools to do remote online meetings and work in a very productive environment. So technology, luckily, is not our problem. It's really the culture. We actually have a long time work from home, hybrid work environment culture within Cisco. And this really helped us a lot during the pandemic time. But it's not enough, because in pandemic time, it's not hybrid, it's not flexible work environment. It's everything working remotely, everything working from home. And in home, it's everyone working or studying online. You have 4 or 5 people together competing with the home internet, even competing with the PC or notebook if you don't have one for each of them. And also because of the space limitation, it makes it very stressful working from home for most of us. Because of that, we actually have a number of programs in place in the past year to help our employee on the well-being and also on their readiness of working from home as a new normal. We have so-called Cisco check-in every week and then move to a bi-weekly, organized and participated by our CEO. all the way with our senior leaders around the world. We invite the expertise from different fields, for example, even from medical health, from productivity. Some of them is physical health, how to do exercise at home, how you can relax, and how you can handle multiple tasks. So we have different kind of expertise sharing the experience during the check-in periods. At the same time, we know it's very difficult to be with all the kids at home while you are working and kids are doing their study, online study, and all sorts of things. So we have home parenting workshops being introduced in every part of the world, including Greater China, to help our parents how to look after their kids at the same time at home working. And also we have so-called a day for me for everyone's Cisco, and this is extra paid day off for our employees, because we know how stressful they are when they need to spend 10 hours at home or even longer just doing online meetings. And of course, we never forget about all the fun and social activities during this period of time, even we have to do it online. So we never give up our monthly birthday parties. We never give up our happy hour time. And we actually introduce even more innovative stuff like what we call the pajama film team business meetings. And we also want whose slippers are the coolest, that kind of contest. And of course, we consume alcohol actually probably not less than in the normal time, because we have all sorts of wine tasting activities and also virtual happy hours inviting family members. All this matter, we truly believe enable a even more transparent, more support, and more fun work environment is even more important when you're working from home.
Absolutely. I am very touched by hearing this statement. When technology is not an issue, culture really matters. And I hear all of the cases you share. I can see the smile on your team's faces. I know they are comfortable even not together. And I see all of the measures you're taking are all about humanistic and care. It is out of people's feeling, and you are trying to take care of that in this challenging time. That's really amazing. I'm stunned. But then I then want to know more how technology and the companies and the creative team do in this particular year. So let's move on to Robin. And Robin, we know you are also a very new tool in the market, very creative. You have a wonderful team. So can you share with us, how does your workplace culture matter to your team in this particular year?
Sure. Thanks, Alicia. And comparing with the other panel guests, Canva is a relatively younger company. We actually started in Australia back in 2013. We are the world's largest online design platform with a mission to empower everyone to design, right? So with Canva, everybody pretty much can design anything and publish anywhere, and can also collaborate with your colleagues online simultaneously. We believe actually the workplace culture is the most important thing, right? It's not just in 2020, but ever since Canva was founded. And quite frankly, we don't set our culture, so there's no rule or there's nothing on the wall saying what our culture is. We believe that people is actually our greatest assets, and the best way to attract, retain, and also motivate very good talents is to firstly set a great vision that everybody is motivated about, and then align a set of values that everybody adheres to, right? One of our core values is, for example, set crazy big goals and make them happen. Or another one is we need to empower everyone to make the best of ourselves, right? And then thirdly, of course, as a company, we need to set or build an environment that actually empowers everyone to succeed, both professionally and personally. So then we together actually forms the company culture, and different people interpret our culture differently, right? Some people say, oh, we're engineering culture. Other people say, oh, this is such a diversified and interesting and fun place to work with. And then we measure them by asking them whether you're going to promote Canva as a great place to work. And now we've got the result. And thanks for the great place to work that we're badged, right? So that's what we believe, right? And then I think the other panelists have talked a lot about the great examples of how they set their culture or how they actually cultivate a culture that people love. And I just want to give you an example, and it's just a very vivid example of how we do it at Canva. So at the beginning of every 3 months, and at Canva, we don't call a quarter thing, right? We call Canva a season, and there are 4 seasons in the year. And then at every beginning of the next 3 months, season opener. So as you can see from the slide, right? Every season opener is actually hosted by our CEO, Mel, right? She actually runs the whole show, and it's literally just a giant party together. And during that party, it's full day 1, and every team is going to talk about our great achievements over the past season. We're going to talk about the goals that we're going to achieve in the next season, and we're going to share a wonderful story or a couple of really good stories about our users, about our communities, about our how our products is actually adding value or make life different for them. So then I want to share with you one video actually. So that was the last season opener we had with a theme of around the world. And then I think during that video, you will see that how interesting, how diversified and enjoyable the workplace culture that we have set together. So could you please just play the video in the next slide?
Choo-choo, all aboard เพื่อความสุขในการเดินทางของคุณอย่างเต็มที่
Let's make tracks on an extraordinary adventure.
Full steam ahead around the world.
This train is bound for everywhere, with everyone, on any device.
From Sydney to Manila to Austin to Timbuktu.
Safety first, folks. Don't eat all your snacks at once.
Vámonos, amigos.
Whoa! Ride on the Canva Express for our most remarkable season opener yet.
Vollgrim Frühling, Vollgrim Herbst. Welche Jahreszeit immer bei dir ist.
And remember, there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Dal, I just want to let you know, I hashtag Canva love yous. Always have, always will.
Oh, I hashtag Canva love you too.
Damn straight, love ya.
Bon voyage. Au revoir. Adieu. Adieu.
That's it, Alicia. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. It's so cute that every time we see that, we just like cannot hold my smile. So I can feel your culture already. Like what you said, make life different. That's cool. So I'm sure we have heard a lot of your workplace culture, and though they are different, but they are all very good and also very supportive to your people. There are also people who doesn't have the privilege like your team having so many supports. So they might want to know more how you can help them to work with the resources they have. So that's quickly moving on to the discussion. How do you think the positive workplace culture can help in the new normal? Okay, in the new normal. Okay, we just heard about new normal. And what is new normal? This is from Wikipedia. A state to which economy, society, etc. settles following a crisis, when this differs from the situation that prevailed prior to the start of the crisis. So no doubt, COVID-19 is what we call the crisis this year. So if we are lucky enough to consider ourselves a little bit post COVID-19, then we are officially entering the new normal. So let's talk about how we manage this in the new normal. And these are the questions actually I consolidated from numerous surveys, and maybe not in your company, but in all kinds of business. They would like to know, how does workplace culture help to competition in the talent market? There are several more that allow me to finish the question. Then I will want to hear from you about your sharing. And there are also questions about how to create engagement when the team members and clients are isolated and physically separated in different locations. All right. And there are people asking, moving forward into the uncertainties, can you share some tips for maintaining the psychological and the emotional health? This is a big topic, not only in China, it's actually globally. So may I invite, workplace culture and talent competition, may I invite me? This is the reason why I want to invite you, and of course Robin, because I have heard so many feedback from technology companies that they feel so hard to compete even before the COVID-19, because the market is evolving and emerging. So many new companies, local and private sectors, so many. So how do you think the workplace culture would help the competition when you are trying to acquire and attract more talent in the market? Can I start from me?
Yes, sure. Thanks so much, Alicia. I just have to say, as you said, the competition in the talent market is fierce in the IT industry. I think most of people will agree to that. And Cisco being a 30 years something kind of company, we cannot consider us to be very long history. Actually, we are pretty young. But in IT world, we are very old already. We are not very cool anymore. The way to compete in the talent place is really by our workplace culture. That's the only way to differentiate us. Everything is cool today, may not be cool 6 months later, but the workplace culture is there forever. I have been working in Cisco for 15 years. This is by far the longest time I worked in a single company. And before, I worked for other IT companies as well for a couple of years. The reason I stay in Cisco for that long is because of the workplace culture. And also, I also noticed that in Cisco, we have a lot of people leaving Cisco because of a cool opportunity, quote unquote, would like to come back and work in Cisco again. The proportion of this is higher than all companies I worked before in the IT world. And everyone I ask them is because of the culture. So what's the unique culture of Cisco in terms of a workplace? For just give you a few examples, we have, in terms of day off, every company have vacation, they have a day off. We knew our employee, sometimes they have emergency family situation. They have emergency cases they need to handle. And we don't need them to consume their normal vacation days. We have what we call emergency pay leave for them in case they need extra days to handle those situations. So that's one example. And the other example is we actually have 40 hours, actually 5 full work days, pay time off for them to do voluntary work with their community. So as long as you register the voluntary work with your community services, you can get extra up to 5 days of pay off every year to do what you would like to do to contribute to your society and community. And also, I just mentioned, we have a day for me. That is an extra day coming, all the way from CEO. And he just said, I know you guys are too stressful and too difficult. Let's take an extra day off and we enjoy the long weekend. And that's as simple and as easy as that. So that kind of policy actually is driven by the culture It's driven by the way how we care our people and how we always have the philosophy that if you want to look after others well, you have to look after yourself first. So be a better me, then we'll be a better company, and we will serve the world in a much better way. So that is always our culture driving us forward.
Wow, that's really amazing. Well, while mean comments, they are actually an old IP company, quote unquote. Then let's hear from also a young IT related business from Robin. So in your particular perspective, because actually you are different compared with Cisco, your technology are completely different. So how does workplace culture help your competition in the talent market?
Yes, thanks, Alicia. I really like what Ming has just said, right? Giving that flexibility to people, and then being a good self, yourself, and then you become a better company together. I really like that. And then, but coming back to 2020, because we're talking about 2020 under the new norm, and I think the biggest keyword of the new norm is uncertainty, right? So if you ask our employees or anyone in any company, right, they say, oh, I don't feel as secure, right, as before, because probably tomorrow I'm gonna lose my job, or probably tomorrow my business is gonna shut, etc. So that level of uncertainty is really creating a kind of an anxiety among employees or culture. But I believe, or we believe at Canva is our culture, right, only make us stronger during crisis, not weaker. As long as we've got a great one. And to deal with that uncertainty, I think the most important thing at our company, or myself, in my mind, is building a stronger trust during this time, and to make sure. And this level of trust is, on the one hand, while given a lot of employees actually working from home and have a more flexibility where they didn't used to have, we need to trust them that they are still working at their best, right, or not losing any productivity. And of course, we need to set some for example, mechanisms, etc., to make that happen, or empower them to make that happen. But then on the other hand, I think it's more important, or probably the most critical thing, is to have that level of confidence, build a level of confidence to our employees by a lot of things. For example, we used to have a weekly like stand-ups, and now we call them weekly sit-downs, because we are sitting down in front of Zooms, etc. And then we are doing that on an increasing cadences. Now it's weekly, and then every week our CEO is going to talk about our company's performances, of our policies towards this new norm, and then how we are actually treating our employees at these circumstances. And then we've set up a really strong team, like analyzing how our business is performing, what our strategy is going forward, and then we share that to every group. So everybody is very, very clear about, okay, what are we going to do, right? Both as a business as well as a workplace, so that they know that their job is secured, our business is doing fine, and the company is actually taking care of them more than ever. So I think building that level of trust and really through a very, very transparency way of doing that is very, very important. And I think it's gonna be a one of the, if not the only one, the most important thing going forward for any company that's gonna thrive or continues to thrive during this new norm.
That's really cool. I cannot agree with you more. You know, I heard so many people talking about insecurity, and then maybe we will have another seminar for that. But moving on, this is a question more people are still waiting to hear. How to create engagement when the team members and clients are isolated and physically separated in different locations? I can't touch them. I can't find them on a timely basis. I can't influence them. So we really want to learn from people like Andy and Alan. You are managing a super-sized team in different locations, and your clients are very, very important as your services stand out, help you to stand out from your competitions. So can you help us to learn how to create engagement in such in the new normal? Can I start with Alan, please?
Yes, thank you, Alicia. Actually, we are in the industry to serve. We serve our employees, we serve our healthcare professional, we serve pharmacists, we serve pharmacist club, we serve patient, we serve consumer. So all those kinds of serving, we need to interact with them. And I have to say, under the new normal, especially COVID-19, we have to find a way to change our format, how to interact with them. So first of all, of course, from the market research, we can understand how our customer behavior change. So for example, we get the data that we know, for example, healthcare professional, actually they change their approach in attending physical meeting. Right now, they change more than 3 or 4 times using digital to attend scientific meeting. This is already something that we change. And then, for example, if we talk about like pharmacists, we know a lot of O2O already happening. People used to buy in the pharmacy store. Right now, they start to have mix. They buy in online. They also buy in store. So first of all, we know that they are changing. So we have to understand how their behavior change and then try to fit them. And then for Ipsen, we separate into 2 different categories. So first of all, external perspective. We run an e-campaign, the campaign that we found very, very useful. We mobilize around 300 managers in the organization and try to share with us all the best practice they observe in the industry, or even some outside the industry. So we try to use 300 people brain to bring all the ideas to us. And I have to say, after they bring all the ideas, the management team and I, we use 2 meetings and try to digest all the ideas because there's too many. And some of them are already way too new to us. So this is an interesting idea. We give them around like 4 weeks to collect, and then give them 2 days to share with us. And of course, finally, we grant some award to them. First, we grant awards to people to bring a lot of valuable best practice. We also give award for those people after they give the new ideas, we really put it in action. So finally, after all the campaign, this year, we have 10 new digital ideas. Actually, we put on board. Some ideas we serve our customer, like HCP, healthcare professional, better. And some idea we help our healthcare professional to serve their patient, because their patient also is now remote now, not just the healthcare professional. And then third idea, we also help our customer in pharmacist club to talk to them in a digital approach. So for those kind of new ideas, we clearly see that people changing their mind, and the staff are also changing as well. I have to say, we are not definitely the best in the class, but definitely we do the best we can. As a mid-sized company, we still have a lot we need to balance. But for my team, I'm very proud of their initiative and their courage to change. And of course, the sharing idea actually make us feel very, very proud. And then from external perspective, after we come back to internal, within internal, this year, we also launched free internal digital process in order to solve a lot of workload. Because previously, when you work in office, you can solve a lot of things, sending emails, sending Excel, you talk, and then you grab a meeting. And then we know maybe this is not the case in the coming future. So free process we put in the digital in order to help us to continue to evolve. And of course, one thing, we have to admit that not having a physical office, sometimes it's not easy. You go to check and grab someone and talk about 3 minutes and arrange an ad hoc meeting, not easy anymore. So this year under COVID-19, we pay special attention on how department and team to run their routine meeting. So how we know that they're still engaging, they're still talking. So we try to have a post check to see things moving forward, because we still communicate well under the remote situation. And one thing we especially do is, previously we like to grab people like me. I like to go outside my office and then take a coffee and grab people for 3 minutes and then talk. Right now, I don't have a practice to do that under COVID-19. But we're still doing very, very short meeting. So we on purpose arrange quite a lot of short meeting, like 10 minutes. We just want to make sure you have a 10-minute short meeting, you engage, and then you're still talking. So you can still have a pause to see, okay, we are still operating, we are still communicating. And then for us, this is very important. And even for me, WeChat is so popular, everyone knows in China. And for me, when out in myself, under COVID-19, I have big WeChat group. I have a mid-size WeChat group. I have small WeChat group. I have a lot of group. If I need to communicate, I just take a group and then I send a message. People will come back to me. Okay, Alan, I know what you're talking about. Okay, this is my response. So I think after COVID-19, we still continue the approach. We never stop. We're still running more digital idea because we believe this is the way not just COVID-19 will work. In the coming future, it still will work. And finally, we also changed the KPI and also the way we manage people. In the mid-year, we start not talking, have an evaluation of your plan. We know that a lot of plan no longer a plan. So we change the KPI. We try to talk about what is your adjustment. So we talk about achievement, completion. We talk about adjustment. And then how you adapt the new things, how you change the new things, how you demonstrate your leadership to lead the change. So we change our KPI and also we change our behavior expectation. I think altogether, this is the way for Ipsen, a mid-sized company, we try to survive and also we try to perform during this new normal.
Right. I hear agility, a very good agility, flexible, and the tech, strategically very smart to anticipate a change. Wow, that's great. And also, Andy, what about Michael Page? Can you share with us how to create engagement when everybody's is different places? And I'm sure you are one of the most experienced because your team were originally very spread out. So Andy, please.
Sure. Yeah, I think we can look at this in two ways. I look at it from a short term, so the here and now, and then also the long term. And I think the short term is very much around what some of the guys have already mentioned over the course of this webinar. You've got to make sure people are safe. You've got to make sure you're over communicating with people. So if you think you've communicated enough, you probably haven't. Go communicate some more and be very clear, particularly when there was when COVID first hit and there was a significant uncertainty around. And we've got to remember to carry on doing that. We've got to remember to keep up that communication, even though in some locations, clearly life is just starting to return to normal. And then, of course, we've had to help our clients and our candidates with the shift to virtual interviewing processes. So we've done a lot of work in terms of guiding around, well, how do you run a virtual interviewing process, giving guidance to candidates, and how can you present yourself best in an interview in a virtual sense. And there's a lot of work to do there and a lot of guidance that can be done, even sometimes being in the interview or being there to make sure the technology works at the beginning, so you create the right impression. So a lot of that is like the here and now. I think when we move to the second point, the future, I really agree with something that Robin mentioned about you have to set a very clear and compelling vision for the business, because that's whether you're together or whether you're in different offices, that's something that can really unite people and really gives everyone a common purpose. And it's our job as leaders, particularly in difficult times, to paint a picture of a bright future. And that's exactly what a really good vision does. So as we were even relatively soon, sort of 5-6 months ago, we realized, right, okay, we've got to deal with the here and now, but we need to paint that picture of where we're going. And, you know, people say a difficult road often leads to an amazing destination. So let's create that amazing destination, or let's talk about what we want that amazing destination to look like. And when we talk to our people, some keywords came out: customers, people, and future. So our business wanted a much bigger focus on our customers. So we've expanded our customer team. One of the values we have is putting our customers first in everything that we do. People, it's our own people, but it is also our clients and our candidates. But we want to try and create the best employee experience. EX is a new word, isn't it, or phrase that's being used quite a lot. And of course, the future is having a constant eye on the future. So investing in new businesses, so not just Michael Page, which is the core brand you all know, but some of the brands that I've got behind me as well. So that short-term and long-term part of it, I think, plays a really important part in really securing that engagement in these times.
Absolutely. I think nothing says more about experience, throughout, to this point of the year. And you're totally right. The vision is helping people to lift our heads up and look at somewhere that we can keep walking. And that's really, thank you very much. Well, this last question I'm posing to everybody, but I hope to narrow this a little bit. I want to hear the tip that is personally most favorable or most useful. So here we have a question, moving forward to uncertainty. Can you share some tips for maintaining the psychological and emotional health? I'm going to make it very personal. I would like to hear your personal tip, if you are willing to share, or one rule of thumb that you're going to tell everybody you know that works. One tip from every one of you, how to maintain the psychological and emotional health. So that started with Alan. So is there any one tip?
Thank you. So from my side is I pay special attention on the sense of belonging and the internal communication to make sure the team are working together to face uncertainty.
Right, cool, okay. Then let's move on to Andy. Andy, what is your one tip on top of every tips to maintain psychological and emotional health?
For me, it has to be exercise. I do running, cycling, a bit of Pilates here and there. Clearly everyone's got their own thing that they do from a physical exercise point of view. Do it, commit to it. Even those times, oh God, I really don't want to do it. Force yourself to do it because it makes a really big difference. And that's my one tip.
Right. That's great. And how about you, Ming?
Yes, I would say exercise and really have fun. Really try to have fun, with a little bit creativity, innovative, and you can have fun everywhere. I have fun during my 14 days quarantine in China locked in a hotel. So having fun is very important.
Absolutely, I cannot agree with you more. So Robin, what about you? Already very creative in your daytime.
I think exercise is definitely very, very important. I think we share a lot in common already. But I would say maybe the same thing, right? We have a term in Canva called YOLO, right? You only live once, so live today and then just be happy. Do whatever, do things that make you happy.
Cool. Yeah. Today this session makes me happy. That's for sure. Thank you for your tip. So well, I have to. We are actually going to the closing part of this session. I personally learned a lot from your sharing. I hope there are more people that can hear from you. And today, what I heard from you, I have so many papers write down. I cannot read them all through, but I just name a few that I learned. I think first and foremost, I love what Cisco, Ming, and also Robin says: be a better person. So we can become a better company. I love it a lot. I love it a lot. And I like YOLO as well, enjoy the moments. And of course, there are very useful tips for us to learn, build up a stronger culture of trust that people will feel more secure. We tackle these issues openly. We hear from them openly and timely and more frequent than before. We don't have to give bombastic conversations. We don't have to organize massive meetings. We just call people in and have short but sweet talks or meetings to tackle the issues fast and in a timely manner. We don't stick with the plan or the business goals that we have set up 12 months ago, because we know this is a completely new era and that we need to actually be agile and flexible and optimistic to face those new challenges. And a new vision will help us to anchor our right positioning and to keep us stable and fun toward our new goals. I love everything you share with us. I have learned some that I can use immediately at workplace. And what I feel, despite I'm not physically one of your team members, I can feel all of you try to show your support to your team member, no matter it is materials preparation in order to help them through this period of time, or create some fun moments, or make sure their family and loved ones are taken care of, or trying to make sure they know they are very important, people first. So I really enjoy. I thank you very much. And once again, Robin, Ming, Alan, and Andy, I cannot say more thank you for the precious time you share with us. It might not be very long, but the messages we have obtained is like a treasure, a big one. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.